If you've ever sat with a post, a pitch, or a project for way too long because it wasn't perfect, maybe this episode is for you. The reality is that perfectionism is fear of being judged. Perfectionism needs a scale, a place to go to so that it can kind of like have overflow.
Sabrosura pa' ti que qué.
Hello, everyone. This is Pam, your host of Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast exploring stories that inspire Latine, people of the global majority, so that we can embrace our voice, challenge calladita culture, and step into our power. El día de hoy, pues, it's just you and me. And I want to talk to you about something that has, I think, stopped the majority of us at some point: perfectionism. If you've ever sat with a post, a pitch, or a project for way too long because it wasn't perfect, maybe this episode is for you. So this week I had a whole other topic planned out, but this happened this week. This question happened this week. I was teaching a class and somebody said, "Hey, what happens when you're stuck in perfectionism? What happens when you want to, in this specific case, when you want to share a post, but you're stuck, you're stuck. You're stuck in the overthinking if it's good enough." And it made me like right at the moment, I gave an answer that I wasn't fully satisfied with because I had to think on my feet and then we were out of time and there was a lot. However, when we are stuck in perfectionism is a way to hold ourselves back. And many times it's not that what we are looking to create, launch, pitch, share, whatever it is not ready, is that we are scared. There's a lot of standards that have been given to us. Calladita culture, of course, the wind of power, the wind of worth can amplify your perfectionism because the reality is that perfectionism is fear of being judged, fear of not doing it right, fear of being too much or not enough. And let's pause for a second and understand that is normal to have this nervous system response. It's normal for your body to feel this way. It's normal for you to feel like there's a standard that you have to meet because society expects you to be whatever type of way. The reality is that perfectionism is a response to stress. And it's a way for our body trying to keep us safe through control. Because the brain is funky like that. What the brain does is says, if we don't post in this example, if we don't post, I know I'm safe because there's nothing to be judged for, right? Or if I don't send the pitch, then I am safe because at least I'm not getting a no, or I'm not getting a decline, or I'm not getting ghosted for it. So what we can control is kind of like what we hold on to. So that's really what's behind perfectionism, is the way that our brain decides to be in control, and many times is by holding us back. Let's talk about something we all deserve: financial empowerment. Whether you're tackling debt, planning for retirement, or starting that dream business, navigating your finances can feel overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be, thanks to Savvy Ladies. Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women like you take control of your financial future. They offer free resources, webinars, and my favorite, a free financial helpline where you can connect one-on-one with trusted financial experts. And yes, it's completely free. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or need guidance on a specific challenge, Savvy Ladies is here to provide quality and trusted advice you can count on. So why wait? Visit savvyladies.org today and connect with the financial helpline to get the personalized support you deserve. Your journey to financial independence starts here. That is savvyladies.org. Your path to financial freedom can start today. So, if you find yourself in a place like that, then the first thing we want to do is check in with your nervous system. And I love this tool. The way that I think about it when I think about it, it's raw. So basically, this is a science-based tool. It comes from Trent's theoretical model of behavior change, and it was developed in the 70s by Prochaska and DiClemente. And what this model does is it outlines the stages people go through when we modify behavior. And if you feel stuck, is because likely you're looking to modify behavior. And what this model does is it helps us emphasize your readiness, your willingness, and additional components that come with it. It allows us to evaluate your commitment and your capacity for change. Change is not fun. Change is hard, change is the only constant. And when we are feeling stuck in perfectionism, this is a framework that I often use. And it helps with nervous system regulation, not necessarily because it will calm you down, but at least it will give you some clarity. And so the raw is ready, willing, able, and want to. And the questions you want to ask yourself before going into posting or sending or before taking action, you want to pause and ask the following 4 questions. Am I ready? Am I willing? Am I able? And do I want to do this? And what this does is it lets you come back to your body and out of the spiral. You can put your hand over your heart and ask yourself the questions. You can journal it out. You can go for a walk as you ponder on this. It may not fix it. It may not be like, all right, we are so ready to go. However, it will give you some clarity as to what might be the thing stopping you. And I've used it many times. I've used it especially when responding to pitches, working with brands. I've used it. I use it a lot in email, actually. I recently was talking to a brand and I was hesitant to respond to one of their emails because I was like, "Ooh, I don't know. Is this email good enough? Am I saying the right things?" And so I asked myself, am I ready to send this email? The answer was yes. Am I willing to send this email? Yeah, I'm willing. Am I able to send this email? Totally. I can just hit send. Do I want to do this? And that's where my body stopped and said, you don't want to do this. And so then that led me to asking myself, what is the fear? Why don't I want to do this? And so in this case, I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I was afraid of the answer that I was going to get. And that was beyond my control. So what was within my control was to not hit send yet because at least I knew that the ball was in my court in that specific instance. Once I went through these questions and continued to self-coach myself, then I allowed my body to check in, get back to center, and say, okay, I won't be able to control what they say. I'm not ready, perhaps, to receive a decline on this. And all I can do today is hit send and send them my most aligned answer, and it is what it is. So that's the first step to getting out of the spiral. The second step is something that I developed called the CLEAR framework. And of course, if you know me, you know I always come up with acronyms because it's an easier way for me to remember things that I create. And so this is called CLEAR. And what I realized with in my own journey of perfectionism is that perfectionism needs a container. Perfectionism needs a scale, a place to go to so that it can kind of like have overflow. And so the CLEAR framework helps and hopefully helps me, hopefully it will help you get out of perfectionism. And it's a scale. So CLEAR, CLEAR, 5 words. And basically, I love checklist. So when I'm stuck in perfectionism, I go through the CLEAR framework. If I get 3 yeses out of 5, then it's good to go. That's the idea. It helps me because I don't have to make emotional decisions. It's very simple. I put the words clear, sometimes expand a little bit. I'll give you the questions in a second, and then I score them. 1 point each. And I need to get at least 3 out of 5 in my case. Sometimes I've ran with 2 out of 5 because I am not risk averse at all. So I take risks a lot. And so I have my tolerance and my taste for risk is a little bit higher than usual. If you have a less high tolerance for risk, maybe you want to make sure that your clear framework is 4 out of 5. Totally fine. You tailor this as good as it works for you. So let's start with the C. C is content quality. And this is my goal when I created this was to make it as adjustable to different scenarios when we feel stuck. So quality, content quality, because the C, but quality, is it clear? Is it thoughtful? So whether I'm sending something, I am about to reply to an email, I am about to post a video, I am responding to my boss. Is it clear and thoughtful? Not perfect, just intentional. Okay? C. L for long term pride. L means, will you be proud you responded this way in 3 months, 3 years, or 3 decades? And the long term pride is important because sometimes, as we're stuck in perfectionism, we may think, what could be the repercussions? Maybe not now, but what about in 3 years? And so, because perfectionism is a stress response, you very likely have, and if you follow me, there's probably some element of hypervigilance there. And so answer the question. We're naming what's stopping us. And frankly, the long-term pride, the majority of times when I've done it, it always gets a point because it's rare that I will regret my response. E for emotional resonance. Does it feel honest? Does it feel aligned? Or does it feel heartfelt? Will it connect with me, with whoever is going to? Is there that emotional resonance? Emotional resonance doesn't mean that you're coming from a place of emotion, of dysregulation. Emotional resonance means, is it connected to what you truly feel it needs to be? A for alignment. Is it true to you? Is it true to your brand? Is it true to your message? Is it true to your integrity? Is that something that you are 100% when you read it, when you hear yourself, when you rewatch it, or whatever it is that you're working on? Are you like, this is true to me, regardless of potential judgment or regardless of whatever anyone else might think? And R is relevance. So, is this the right time for this message or for this action to take place? Sometimes you could say, relevant. Is it relevant right now? Well, maybe I'm a little bit activated. Maybe I'm too nervous to respond right now. Could it wait? So, is this the right time? Well, could it wait 5 minutes? Maybe. Could it wait a day? Could I respond tomorrow? Maybe. And it actually, for me with an ADHD brain, I often tend to read things really fast, kind of like skim through them and then make conclusions in my brain, which is something that I've worked through my whole life, continue to work on. And what happens is, this is another thing that actually happened. I received an email response from a client and I read it on my phone, and I read it relatively quickly because I was doing something else, and I read it and I was like, oh, okay. And then I started kind of like creating a response in my head, but I didn't respond. And then I waited because it wasn't relevant and or necessary for me to respond at that moment. And so when I waited the following morning, because it was at night, the following morning I read it and it was a completely different tone because I read it with fresh eyes. I wasn't tired from the night before. It was just a much different scenario in this case that then allowed me to respond in a much more clear way. Okay. So you go through the clear framework. If you say yes, in my case, to 3 out of the 5, then you're good to go. My invitation to you is to adjust your scale. In your case, it could be 2 out of 5, or it could be 4 out of 5, or it could be all 5. Totally fine, whatever works for you. Ideally, you want to give yourself some grace, so maybe 4 out of 5. And so anytime you feel stuck, then you can go back to your clear scale and go through the process so that you get out of that perfectionism. And the other invite is for you to stop reinventing the scale every time, because this is why I made it as generic as possible so it could be kind of like work through regardless of the challenge you are facing. So once you have it, then you should be able to just go through the questions pretty quickly, get your answers. You get, first and foremost, you will want to get back to center, regulate your nervous system, and then answer the clear framework. Get your answers and make a decision from there. Because then what it creates is distance. Once you've answered the clear questions, you've created distance from the problem, and now you can see it from afar. And it's so much easier for you to take action and get out of that spinning wheel of perfectionism and take action. All right. To recap, I'm going to give you the clear scale again. Before step number 1, if you feel stuck, you want to tune into your body, regulate your nervous system, and ask yourself the raw questions. Am I ready? Am I willing? Am I able? Do I want to do this? Where is the fear? What am I afraid of? Once you name the fear, then you're back into your body, out of the spiral, and then you go through the process, the clear framework with your challenge. Clear stands for C, content quality. Is it clear, thoughtful, not perfect, and intentional? L for long-term pride. Will you be proud of this 3 months, 3 years, or 3 decades from now? E, is there emotional resonance? Does it feel honest, aligned, or heartfelt for you? Is this something that you will connect with? Or you can say that it's fully connected with what you believe in? A is for alignment. Is it true to your brand, to your message, to your integrity? R is for relevance. Is this the right time for this message or for this action? Could it wait? Okay, so your final reminder is clarity over chaos, progress over perfection. You don't need it to be perfect, you just need it to be clear. Thank you so, so much for being here. If this podcast has ever inspired you, here are some ways you can support it so you can keep going for many, many more episodes in so many ways. You can leave a rating and review on your podcast app. You can subscribe here on the YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can share this episode with someone you love and care about. You can also join our supporters club to get exclusive content, ad-free podcast episodes. It's only $5 a month. Buy us a coffee once a month. That's all you need to do. And then you can check out the various offerings that we have under Café con Pan. If you're an organization, you can also hire me to speak. And let's bring these conversations to even more people. Stay connected on socials at Café con Pan Podcast. Muchas gracias por seguir escuchando. Nos vemos prontito y sigue brillando.
Sabrosura pa' ti que